they're doing the demolition over here at the marina, and I am losing my shower and laundromat and bathrooms up there. They'll have some other bathrooms that are porta potties basically, but it makes me really want to finish this head. And now I've got the new sink in and it's working really great, but I still have no shower. My cabinets are made of door skin. There's water damage all over the place, so let's start cutting stuff out, replacing it, and making it nice in here. All right, we got a fresh coat of paint in here. We got all the old plumbing stuff out. We can start from scratch. Now, if you're counting, this is the fourth time I've done this. But you know, fourth time's a charm, I guess. This time I'm gonna give myself a nice clean base. Got this leftover piece of Lexan that was in the shipyard. We're just going to put it on some rubber spacers that I've cut out of little bits of fuel line. So this is like some nylon reinforced fuel line, rubber fuel line. I've cut it into little tiny pieces. We're going to use a screw, a washer, a rubber spacer, the Lexan, another rubber spacer, and then the hull of the vessel. That should give me an extra layer of vibration reduction from these motors, and hopefully I won't be able to hear them running at all. Well, most of the plumbing has gone in pretty smoothly, although I think I've finally realized why a lot of boats don't have PEX, and I haven't realized it until I got to this cramped corner of my boat. Now this is my heat pump over here, and it takes up a lot of space. I've just disconnected everything on it to get it out of here because, frankly, it's too crowded in here to get my tool into position. So I bought a standard crimper, but as you'll notice the action, look, until I get it to like here, it's already compressing the ring. So I really have to open it like that wide to get it slid onto a ring, and this wide if I want to get it over a ring. You know, try jamming something that large into a cramped corner on your boat and you'll see the problem. Whereas the barb and hose clamp function only really needs a screwdriver. So yeah, it just takes some thinking ahead. Sometimes I have to assemble a chunk of my piping in my hands and then assemble the last piece to the rest of the plumbing on the boat because I can't actually get at all the other intricate bits when it's all together. Okay, so we've got our plumbing set up mostly. There's a little bit of tidying up still to do, and I've powered on my freshwater pump. I'm talking now for a few seconds and it hasn't turned on again, which means it's not leaking a lot. I'm pretty happy, honestly. I'm not in a great mood because I'm still doing plumbing, but you know, I'm not in an absolutely awful mood. There is one shortcoming, and that is this shower handle here. Oops, wasn't supposed to do that. Anyway, basically it is garbage. And if you go to the back side of this, it's just pissing water and there's no amount of tightening or extra. This is the unfinished construction zone of the forward berth. But as you can tell, I've got some dripping here and no amount of tightening on these is fixing it. Essentially, I think that there's just imperfections in how this was casted and cut, and no amount of plumber's tape will seal that up. It's just garbage. You know, these copper tubes are super annealed and flexible, which also worries me a lot because as I'm wrenching on them, they're like twisting and doing other stuff, and I'm trying to hold it in place with the wrench on the little box joint here, but of course it's also soft brass and is, you know, I'm putting so much torque on this thing, I'm ripping that out and ripping all this stuff. Anyway, so by the looks of things, we've got a plumbing system that 99.9% works. I just have to throw out this tap, which I just bought because it's garbage. All right, so on top of just being a sailboat that I can cruise around in, it also is kind of my home, and it also has to be sustainable off-grid because this boat is incredibly expensive to put at a dock. So part of that is making sure that I have a shower. Now, I'm getting showered right now outdoors, and although that is a possibility, it's not very comfortable. So we're going to go and start off by making a shower door today. To build a door for the shower, I've got this great yellow cedar that Daniel over in Nanaimo left me from one of his projects back 2 years ago. So I'm finally gonna get to use that. Thank you, Daniel. Okay, so these are the pieces for the shower door. I've also cut up some plexiglass here, opaque stuff for privacy, to fit into the grooves here as my panels instead of using Baltic birch plywood. And in order to seal around the edge of this, I'm going to use some Sikaflex so that it's extra waterproof. Well, I've spent most of my time here on YouTube learning new things, and I'm excited that I learned some new stuff about plumbing, but plumbing's one of those things that I'm just gonna have to break this episode into 2 parts because I am at my wit's end, and if I don't stop now, homicides will be committed. And on that lovely note, I want to thank today's sponsor, Skillshare. For those of you who are unaware, living under a rock all these years, Skillshare is an online learning community with thousands of courses spanning hundreds of different topics. You've got short, clean, and condensed videos that work a little bit like a course, breaking it down chapter by chapter by experts that teach you applicable skills for the year 2022. So don't be like me and learn everything the hard way. Instead, go check out the link in the description, get your free month trial, and start learning the easy way with Skillshare. So I was just setting up this episode, and I thought I would check if Skillshare had a plumbing course. They don't. But what they do have is MKBHD doing a course on how to YouTube properly, and if he's not an expert on YouTube, I don't know who is. Too much focus is just on the shooting part and not enough on editing, pre-production, post-production, all that stuff, and he gets much more into detail about that because to produce a really fantastic YouTube video takes a lot of planning. So if you're interested in checking out that course or any of the other stuff that Skillshare has to offer, the link in the description, the first 1,000 of you to click it get a free month trial. Type in the code Finding Simon and you're off to learning the easy way with Skillshare. Thank you so much to Skillshare for sponsoring this episode. Thank you guys for sticking around, and we'll see you in part 2.